Today we're going to learn how to paint. We are going to learn how to paint hues, tints, and shades. A hue is when I paint just the normal color. A hue is just a fancy name for the word color. When I paint a tint, I add white to a hue. So it's a color plus white. When I paint a shade, I add black to a hue. So a shade is hue plus black. First, I need to get my paper. There's a stack of paper and I will take the one on top because I get what I get, and that's right, I don't throw a fit. I'm going to take this orange one because it's first. The person behind me will get the red. When I get back to my table, I will notice these things. My tray of paint that I will share with my table, a cup of white and a cup of black, my water cup, a paper towel, and some paintbrushes. I get to pick one paintbrush. I may only work with one paintbrush today. My choices are between a large round brush or a small round brush. I think I'll start with the small round brush, so I'm going to put this one back in the middle of the table. Today when I paint on my paper, I'm going to use the same hue, so I'm going to paint orange on orange. And the first kind that I paint is going to be the hue only, where I just paint orange on the orange paper. Like this one, I painted green on green. Like this. The green part and the grip, that's the safe zone. Everybody say safe zone. That's where I can keep my fingers. The gold part is the danger zone. Everybody say danger zone. I do not want my fingers to creep into the, get back fingers. I don't want my fingers to creep into the danger zone. I'm going to hold my paintbrush the same way I hold my pencil. I'm just keeping the paint on the bristles of the brush. The bristles are like the hair of the brush, and my paintbrush does not want paint on the danger zone or anywhere on the handle. I'm going to keep the paint on the bristles of my brush. When I dip my brush into the paint, here's how I do it. I dip and I paint. When I'm finished, then I rinse out my brush. I only use the water to rinse out my brush. I never dip my brush in the water before I dip it in the paint. I don't need that. When I'm ready to rinse out my brush, this is what I do. I put my brush in the water and I kind of press it on the bottom and I can hear a scrubbing sound. I'm letting my paintbrush scrub around and I'm going to dance it around in the water a little bit. And when I lift my brush out of the water, I wipe it on the lip. This is the lip. This is what I do not do. Doing that will splash water on my neighbor's paper and they might get really mad at me. I put my brush in the cup, I dance it around on the bottom, I dance it in the water, and I wipe it on the lip. Then I lay it on my paper towel. I'm going to take this artwork and put it somewhere safe, like maybe here next to me or under the table so that it can dry. Now I'm going to get my next piece of paper. This time I get to create a tint. A tint is when I add white to a color. Not a tint like you're going camping, a tint like in art. This time I think I'll try a different size brush. I'll go for the large brush. I'm going to put this brush back in the middle of the table. This time, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to dip my brush into the red paint. Create a line, and then I'm going to wipe my brush on my paper towel to get it a little bit dry, and then dip it into my white because I'm creating a tint, and go back over that same line. I have a lot of white paint here, so I can just come back and spread it out. I don't need to get more paint, I just spread it out. I see a big glob of paint right here, so I want to spread that out too. I don't ever want big globs of paint on my paper. Awesome! Now I'm ready to make my next line. So I'm done creating my tint. I'm going to wash out my brush, put this one aside, and now I can create my shade. It looks like my blue turned into black. Miss Harden, what happened? Miss Harden, what happened? Here's what happened, artist. I put way too much black. A little bit of black makes it very dark. So let me show you the right way. When I'm ready to get my black, I barely touch the tip of my brush into the black. Let me see if you can see that. That might even be too much. Let's see how dark it makes it. Now I have my three paintings, one that is the hue or the plain color, one that is the color plus black, which is the shade, and one that is the color plus white, which is the tint. Also, today we don't need to put our names on our artwork because today is only practice. We're going to do something different with these paintings later. So when I'm totally done and it's time to clean up, I'm going to leave my paintings on my table. If my painting is dry, like this orange one looks dry, I'm going to stack one of my paintings on top of that one. And that one looks mostly dry, so I guess I can stack that one together too. And I'll leave this at my table. I put all of my brushes in the water cup and I leave those at the table. The only thing I move and throw away is my paper towel.